Total Sports Zone. All sports, all action, one zone.
Joe Burrow is in the middle of his prime, and the Cincinnati front office is operating under a total win-now mandate for the 2026 season. To maximize this window, Cincinnati prioritized the other side of the ball. They orchestrated a massive trade for defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence and signed edge rusher Boye Mafe to lock down the interior and perimeter. But paying a premium for an elite defense forced a compromise elsewhere. The front office bypassed offensive upgrades, electing to return the exact same offensive line from 2025. Continuity on the offensive line sounds logical, but returning a static unit makes them a known commodity. Every defensive coordinator in the NFL has a year's worth of film detailing exactly how to break through their protection. The question is whether an elite quarterback and a revamped defense can survive a 17-game schedule when their biggest weakness is visible to every opponent. In certain matchups, the front office's strategy pays immediate dividends. The aggressive defensive overhaul works exactly as designed in these scenarios. It secures the baseline victories Cincinnati needs to stay near the top of the standings. However, the schedule eventually forces them into games where the lack of protection becomes a liability, starting in Week 2 down in Houston. Houston boasts one of the most effective pass-rushing defenses in the league. Because Cincinnati's blocking schemes haven't changed, the Texans easily diagnose the protection and overwhelm Burrow with relentless pressure. This vulnerability repeats itself in Week 13 against the Cleveland Browns. A familiar opponent zeroes in on the static blocking assignments and collapses the pocket before the receivers can finish their routes. The lack of upgrades leaves Cincinnati exposed to singular talents. When facing a generational pass rusher like Myles Garrett in his home stadium, the Bengals' offensive line lacks the physical tools to contain him for 4 quarters. These matchups highlight a consistent trend. Any opponent with a top-tier defensive front possesses exactly what is needed to neutralize Cincinnati's high-powered passing game. Then there are the matchups that devolve into pure shootouts. In Week 9, Cincinnati travels to Madrid, Spain for a massive international matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. In a game filled with star-studded offenses, the defensive lines cancel each other out. Burrow outplays the Atlanta secondary, pulling out a victory on pure talent. That same offensive firepower allows them to successfully navigate their divisional rivalries, earning a complete sweep over the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. But relying on star power has a ceiling. In Week 14, Burrow goes head-to-head with Patrick Mahomes at home. The Chiefs manage to out-execute them in the clutch, leaving Cincinnati searching for answers against elite competition. The team also faces a tactical struggle against the new-look Baltimore Ravens under Jesse Minter. They drop an early game coming off a bye week while adjusting to the new scheme, ultimately settling for a series split. Burrow's arm can win most shootouts, but as the games against Kansas City and Baltimore show, star power is not a guaranteed failsafe against the AFC's true heavyweight contenders. When the dust settles on the regular season, even factoring in a trap game loss to Washington, the Bengals are projected to post a 12-5 record. This chart illustrates their 2026 trajectory. We see steady victories, fueled by defensive additions and Burrow's passing, climbing to 12 wins. But notice the momentum drops. Week 2 and 13 losses correlate directly to the offensive line being overwhelmed by elite pass rushes. Earning 12 wins is crucial because it secures playoff games at Paycor Stadium, providing the home field advantage required to protect the quarterback in late-season matchups. The Bengals' strategy to push all their chips in on defense is a formula for an exceptional regular season, but their static offensive line remains the flaw that will ultimately decide their fate in January.